My beloved souls, chosen women, have you ever felt it? The strange tension in the room the moment you enter, the subtle shifts in posture, the polite smiles stretched just a little too thin, the way eyes follow you, not with admiration, but with calculation. They say you're glowing, but your spirit knows. It's not a compliment, it's a warning. That glow you carry threatens something in them, and perhaps you've wondered, why does my presence seem to provoke such silent reactions? Why does the room change when I walk in? You are not imagining it. You are not being paranoid. What you feel is very real. Because if you are a woman chosen, not by this world, but by something infinitely higher, then your very existence carries a frequency that disrupts comfort zones. If you walk clothed in purpose like armor and wear grace like fire, then know this. This message was sent straight to your soul. This is not about vanity. This is about divine selection, because when heaven chooses you, hell takes notice, and the world begins to whisper behind your back while watching your every move with wary eyes. Why do chosen women attract envy? Why does favor sometimes feel like a heavy mantle? Why does your very name spark emotions you never asked for? You will understand today. You will understand why the light in you exposes the shadows in others. Why you felt the burden of favor and the sting of rejection all at once. You were born with a light that cannot be hidden, and those still lost in darkness often resent what they cannot become. You are not too sensitive. You're not imagining things. You're not wrong to feel the undercurrents of jealousy and opposition that follow your rise. You were designed to disturb systems, to awaken slumbering spirits, to walk in an authority this world cannot comprehend. But this message is not here to comfort you. It is here to awaken you, to help you stand taller, to speak bolder, to stop apologizing for being exactly who God created you to be. When you finish hearing this truth, you will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will stop bending your light to accommodate the shadows of others. And most of all, you will remember that you were chosen for such a time as this. But before we begin, I want to take a moment to say thank you to every one of you who has supported this work through Super Thanks. Your generosity allows messages like this to continue reaching chosen women around the world. And whether you donate or simply watch and engage, know that I am deeply grateful for you. Every gift, every comment, every moment you spend here is valued. We are building this space together, and your presence matters more than you know. Now, if this message already resonates with your spirit, go ahead, like this video, subscribe if your soul has been searching for truth, and drop 999 in the comments. Because as Psalm 99 declares, He is exalted over all the nations, and His justice is seen by the chosen. That number is not random. It is a mark, a sign that you were never meant to live as average. You were born to stand out, to rise above, to walk in favor. So breathe deep, because what's coming next will change how you see everything. You are about to understand exactly why you were set apart, and why the world will never be able to ignore you again. God's chosen ones. Here's the truth about why chosen women always attract envy. Chosen woman, have you ever noticed it? You walk into a room and something shifts before you even say a word. The air feels thicker, as if the energy in the space instantly becomes aware of your presence. You didn't adjust your voice. You didn't flash a look of superiority. Yet it's as though invisible sensors were triggered the moment your feet touch the floor. Why does this happen? Is it really your imagination, or is there something deeper at play? Let me tell you plainly, this is not a coincidence. This is not arrogance. This is spiritual reality. What you carry is not ordinary. You were chosen long before you knew it, and now the vibration you emit cannot be ignored by the world around you. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. Isaiah 61. Chosen women, your light disturbs those living in shadows. You do not need to announce yourself, for your essence already speaks in volumes. Have you ever wondered why certain people avoid eye contact with you, or why a casual glance your way can stir discomfort? It's because your very soul radiates a frequency they cannot fake, cannot replicate, and certainly cannot control. They feel it in their bones before their minds can rationalize it. And what they feel unsettles them deeply. Think about Princess Diana, beloved across the world not merely for her beauty, but for an authenticity that pierced through the cold, rigid structures around her. When she walked into a room, she didn't need to demand attention. It followed her, magnetically drawn to the purity of her spirit. And yet, how much envy and resistance did she encounter from those who found her light too blinding? The parallels to your life, chosen one, are undeniable. You are not here to be liked. You are here to awaken. So, have you been sensing this shift more often? Are you beginning to realize that your presence alone causes reactions you never intended? The answer lies in the truth you've carried since before birth. Chosen women walk with an inheritance that transcends human understanding. This is why it cannot be learned in a seminar or mirrored through imitation. It is embedded in your spiritual DNA, woven by God's hand himself. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession. 1 Peter 2:9. When you walk in, eyes don't turn because of superficial allure. They lock onto you because somewhere deep within their spirit, they recognize that you carry something sacred. It challenges the unspoken rules of their carefully constructed worlds. It exposes their dependency on external validation, while you remain rooted in something eternal. And that, beloved chosen one, is unbearable to those still trapped in the illusions of this world. Consider Oprah Winfrey's rise, a woman who carried a profound inner power that couldn't be silenced or molded by the expectations of a male-dominated media world. She did not force herself into prominence. Her authenticity drew it to her. Yet, how many tried to tear her down, discredit her voice, or label her too bold, too spiritual, too unconventional? The envy she stirred was never about what she did. It was about who she was. Just like you. Chosen woman, here is the part many struggle to accept. Your energy is not meant to fit in. It is meant to shake, to awaken. And when you awaken others, you simultaneously provoke those who desperately wish to remain asleep. Are you noticing how your presence disrupts comfort zones? Have you seen how some are inspired while others become defensive without cause? This is the dividing line between the awakened and the avoidant. And it's not your job to shrink because others can't handle your truth. Your essence speaks in a language beyond words. Everyone feels it, even if they cannot name it. Some will be drawn to you like moths to a flame, desperate for a taste of the authenticity you embody. Others will react with veiled hostility, masking their envy behind passive aggressiveness or unjust criticism. Why? Because standing near you forces them to confront their own unhealed wounds, their own abandoned dreams. Remember Maya Angelou, a woman whose very poetry and presence pierced through generational pain. Her words became lifelines for many and daggers for others who resisted change. She was unapologetic in her radiance, and so must you be. But the Lord is faithful. He will establish you and guard you against the evil one. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. Now, let's address the years you spent doubting yourself. Can we be honest? How many times did you wonder, am I the problem? Should I tone it down? Maybe I should hide this part of myself. Beloved, that was not your voice. It was the voice of a wounded world trying to dim your light. You were never too much. Your soul's brilliance was simply too honest for those not ready to see themselves reflected in it. And that mirror, It remains unavoidable. Your silence speaks louder than any performance. Consider the story of Frida Kahlo, whose raw and unapologetic art exposed truths society often wished to ignore. Her very existence was a protest against mediocrity and pretense, and though she faced isolation and envy, she chose truth over conformity. You are called to do the same. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Chosen one, you don't enter rooms to compete. You're not even playing their game, yet the game shifts when you arrive, and wars you never initiated begin to brew. Why? Because your authenticity unmasks what others have spent a lifetime trying to hide. They are threatened not by your ambition, but by your existence. They sense that you are walking with confidence rooted in purpose, not ego. You speak with clarity, not cruelty. You love without attachment, not desperation. And this is precisely what many fear facing within themselves. Now, ask yourself, are you ready to embrace this truth fully? Are you prepared to walk boldly, knowing that your presence alone will continue to trigger, awaken, and divide? This is not a path for the faint-hearted, but for those chosen to lead through their very being. Look to Malala Yousafzai, whose voice for education and justice echoes far beyond her years. She did not seek fame or battle, yet battle came to her because light disturbs darkness. Still, she rises, and so will you. Chosen woman, can I tell you the truth they will never say to your face, but you have already felt it in your spirit 1,000 times. What bothers them most is not your success. It is not even your beauty, your wisdom, or your accomplishments. What truly disturbs them is this: you do not have to destroy anyone else in order to shine. You do not play dirty games, nor do you crave the spotlight. Your light is not borrowed from public validation. It radiates from a divine fire within you, one that was placed there by God himself, nurtured in the quiet places where no applause was heard. Have you noticed this? When you enter a room, you do so with peace, not noise. But that peace acts as an unflinching mirror, reflecting wounds that others would rather keep hidden beneath masks of pride. Is it any wonder why your presence unsettles them so deeply? Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now look closely. Why do they criticize you? Why do they invent stories about you, exaggerate your mistakes, and belittle your accomplishments? Is it truly because of something you've done, or is it because your humility forces them to confront their own pride? You do not pretend to be perfect. You are simply committed to inner growth. But in a world obsessed with appearances, your authenticity reveals the hollowness in those around you, and that is what they cannot bear. Think of Mother Teresa, a woman whose mission was born out of love and compassion, not public recognition. Yet even she faced harsh criticism from those whose hearts could not grasp the magnitude of selfless service. Her light exposed the darkness of apathy and selfishness in many, even though she never sought to judge or condemn. Just like you, chosen one, her peace shook the foundations of those who preferred to live in spiritual blindness. And here is where the irony deepens. Many of those who can hardly stand your presence will secretly study you. Have you noticed this? They will mimic your style. They will watch your words. They will try to adopt your posture or your mannerisms. But here is what they will never replicate: your essence. Because the source of your power is not ego, it is heaven, and power rooted in divine purpose cannot be counterfeited. The more secure you become in your identity, the more those who have built their worth on the fragile approval of others begin to tremble. Why do you think their envy intensifies the more you grow? Why do you think they whisper more the stronger your voice becomes? But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Look at the life of Michelle Obama, a woman who rose to global prominence not by seeking power, but by embodying grace, intelligence, and an unwavering commitment to purpose. And yet, throughout her public life, she faced relentless criticism from those threatened by her unapologetic presence. Her strength, which came from deep self-awareness and service, revealed the smallness in those who sought only the approval of the crowd. Do you see the pattern now? Your journey mirrors this same spiritual dynamic. Chosen one, ask yourself, have you noticed how some people seem to shake even when you say nothing at all? How your silence seems louder than another's boastful words? This is not arrogance. This is the resonance of a healed, conscious woman whose life serves as a living challenge to those still trapped in cycles of brokenness. You do not attack them. You do not confront them. You do not even mention them. And yet, your very existence destabilizes them. Why? Because when a woman who has been forged by fire stands firmly in her purpose, the unhealed parts of others begin to tremble without her uttering a single word. Consider the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Her quiet determination and relentless pursuit of justice shook institutions built on inequality. She did not rage or fight with brute force. Her consistency, clarity, and unwavering moral compass exposed the weaknesses in systems long resistant to change. Like her, your steadiness itself is revolutionary. You do not need to shout to transform the atmosphere. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. Galatians 5:22. And here is the truth I need you to grasp. This is not about them. It is about you stepping fully into who you were always meant to be. For years, perhaps your spirit felt the dissonance but couldn't quite name it. Why did your light attract envy when your heart carried no ill intent? Why did your growth seem to provoke such disproportionate reactions? The answer is simple. Your elevation exposes the stagnation of others. Your healing reveals their denial. Your wholeness shines a harsh light on their fragmented selves. And now, I must prepare you. What I'm about to reveal in the next moments is a truth few dare to say aloud, but you have sensed it your entire life without fully understanding it. You were set apart. You were born to be a spiritual disruptor. And in being so, you will stir reactions in others that have nothing to do with you, and everything to do with what you awaken within them. Consider the example of Malala Yousafzai, a young woman whose courage in seeking education for girls became a beacon that exposed the ignorance and fear of oppressive forces. She did not seek to be a global symbol. Yet her voice, rooted in truth and love, reverberated across the world, shaking powers that depended on silence and submission. Just like her, chosen one, your destiny is larger than your comfort zone. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. Deuteronomy 31:6. So now I ask you, are you ready to stop shrinking in response to their discomfort? Are you ready to embrace that your peace will continue to be a mirror in every room you enter? That your authenticity will keep shaking those who built their identity on shallow ground? Because what comes next is not meant for the faint-hearted. It is meant for women like you, healed, strong, conscious. And the truth that is about to be revealed will awaken something in you that was never meant to stay asleep. Chosen woman, I need you to hear me now. Not everyone can bear the weight of your favor. Have you begun to sense it? The subtle shift in the air when doors begin to open for you, when breakthroughs arrive, when blessings start flowing in ways others can no longer ignore. Many will applaud you at first. They will smile when they see your light. But what they will not say out loud is that deep down, your favor unsettles them. Why? Because what they admire publicly, they secretly cannot understand, and sometimes cannot accept. You see, your shine did not come for free. It was forged in private battles, paid for with tears, loneliness, and unshakable faith. But many only see the glow, not the cost. Are you ready to walk boldly, knowing this truth? So the last will be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 20:16. When you, a chosen woman, receive favor from God, doors that others have been knocking on for years swing open for you without explanation. And that can sting. It is painful for some to witness another walking freely in spaces where they are still waiting for an invitation. Have you ever noticed the silence that follows your victories? Or how congratulations sometimes sound hollow? It's not truly about you. It's about what your favor reveals in them, their own feelings of lack, their own doubts about worth. But what they do not see is this: the woman they envy today was once invisible. She was broken, tested, ignored. Her favor is not luck. It is the fruit of endurance. Think of the life of Viola Davis. For years, she was told she wasn't the right look, not marketable enough, not what Hollywood wanted. But behind the scenes, she was relentless, honing her craft, battling rejection, standing firm. Today, when she wins awards and commands the stage, many applaud. Yet few understand the decades of pain and resilience behind her favor. Your story is no different, chosen one. The light they now see was forged in darkness. Let me ask you, how many nights did you spend on your knees, crying out to God for strength? How many seasons did you walk through rejection that made you question your very calling? How many betrayals did you endure in silence, choosing not to harden your heart even when everything in you screamed to give up? They didn't see it. They didn't witness the no's you had to accept, the closed doors, the nights you walked through fire alone. And now that favor is upon you. They see the crown but not the scars. They want the blessing but not the battle. They envy the outcome without knowing the price. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter 5:10. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before she became the world's highest paid author, she was a single mother living on welfare, rejected by countless publishers. When Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, many admired her success. Yet few understood that her favor was born from one of the darkest, most hopeless seasons of her life. Like you, chosen one, her blessing came not from ease, but from perseverance. And with every door that opens for you now, know this: it is not coincidence. It is a divine reward for sowing in dry land, for believing when no one believed in you, for standing tall while the weight of despair tried to crush your spirit. But be prepared. When you walk with divine favor, some will turn their backs on you, not because they truly hate your success, but because they are wrestling with their own frustrations. Have you seen this happen already? Have you noticed relationships shifting the moment your life began to rise? This is spiritual reality. Favor doesn't just elevate, it exposes. It forces others to confront what God has not yet done in their own lives. And that reflection is painful. It is easier for them to resent you than to face their own disappointment. Look at the story of Nelson Mandela. After 27 years in prison, when he emerged to lead a nation toward reconciliation, many celebrated his leadership. But others could not accept that a man once silenced now carried such moral authority. His favor exposed unresolved guilt and bitterness in those unwilling to heal. And so it is with you. Some will prefer to attack you rather than admit that God has raised you up. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Chosen woman, this is your reality now. Do not be surprised if favor offends. Do not be shocked when support grows silent or when praise turns to critique, because the same favor that provokes envy is the favor that protects you. The anointing on your life is a shield, not just a gift, and you must wear it with humility and with courage. Will you choose to walk boldly, knowing that your blessing will both inspire and disturb? Are you willing to accept that the more you rise, the more you will reveal what others have yet to confront? Consider the journey of Serena Williams. As one of the greatest athletes of all time, her excellence drew admiration but also relentless scrutiny. Why? Because her favor, her undeniable talent and breakthrough success exposed the insecurities and biases within an entire system. And yet, she never shrank back. Like her, you must stand firm in your favor, chosen one. For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory. Deuteronomy 24. So now, as you continue walking in this season of favor, I urge you, do not let the envy of others cause you to question your worth. Do not allow their reactions to diminish your joy. Their struggle is not with you. It is with the reflection your favor holds up to them. And what's coming next will challenge you even deeper, because your very existence will continue to offend those who have chosen to settle for less. And when you understand this, when you embrace this truth fully, your power will become unstoppable. Chosen woman, let me remind you of something your soul already knows. You were never created to negotiate your worth. Have you found yourself in situations where the unspoken expectation was for you to shrink, to compromise, to blend in just to make others feel comfortable? And yet, something in you refused. Why? Because you are not here to be molded by human hands. You were designed by heaven itself, and that is why your presence unsettles so many. You carry a blueprint that does not conform to this world's shallow expectations. You walk in a divine identity that cannot be traded for applause. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Look around. Do you see it? We live in a world that celebrates what is simply good enough. A culture that rewards mediocrity masked as humility. A society that lifts up what is lukewarm and easy to digest. Anything that won't ruffle feathers or make people question their own comfort zones. But you, chosen one, were not born for this. Your spirit was not crafted to settle in safe spaces or to dim your light in order to blend into the crowd. You're called to awaken, to elevate, to disrupt the narrative of good enough, simply by being who you are. Think of the journey of Rosa Parks. With a simple yet unshakable act of courage, she refused to accept a seat in the back, a place the world deemed good enough for her. She did not scream. She did not attack. She simply stood in the fullness of her worth. And that quiet defiance echoed across history. Chosen woman, your very presence carries that same potential. You love deeply, but you do not accept crumbs. You speak clearly, but you do not seek approval. You move with purpose, not haste. Can you see now why this unsettles those around you? Let me ask you, have you felt the tension when you refuse to lower your standards? Have you seen how others shift when you hold your boundaries firm, when you embody worth instead of begging for it? This is spiritual clarity at work. You do not need to proclaim your excellence. It radiates from within. And that silent radiance acts as a mirror, forcing others to confront where they have compromised. You do not scream your faith, but your unwavering belief shakes the very ground where lukewarm conviction once stood. Consider the example of Coco Chanel. In a time when women were expected to follow strict, confining fashion rules, she revolutionized style by daring to embody her own vision. She did not seek validation. She set a new standard simply by moving with clarity and intention. And in doing so, she both inspired and offended, a pattern you too will encounter as you continue to rise in your calling. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Matthew 6:33. Now understand this truth. Your very existence becomes a silent judgment to those who have settled for less. It is not that you condemn them. It is that your refusal to compromise exposes the places where they have compromised too easily. And that is why you often face unprovoked criticism, subtle resistance, or even outright attack. Not because you are arrogant, not because you are unkind, but because your life, by its very alignment with purpose, reveals what others have buried within themselves. Think of Malala Yousafzai. Her unwavering pursuit of education for girls was not an act of arrogance but of conviction, and yet her resolve disturbed oppressive systems that had long thrived on compliance. In the same way, chosen one, your faith does not impose, but it unsettles. Your standards do not demand respect, they embody it. And this embodiment naturally offends those who have never learned to respect themselves. Have you noticed this dynamic in your own life? The way certain environments seem to resist your presence, even when you come in love and peace. The way some people seem determined to minimize your worth when you've done nothing but remain true to yourself. This is because you are walking in an identity they have not yet chosen to embrace within themselves. And rather than rise to meet you, some will seek to pull you down to a level where they feel safe. Do not fall for it. Consider the life of Eleanor Roosevelt. Her quiet but unwavering advocacy for human rights transformed the political and social landscape of her time. She did not demand respect. She embodied it through action and presence. And though she faced immense opposition, she never lowered her standards to appease others. Like her, chosen one, your steadfastness will challenge many, but it will also inspire those ready to rise. Therefore, my beloved sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. So here is the calling, chosen one. Continue to move with unwavering purpose. Do not compromise your standards to gain temporary acceptance. Do not silence your voice to maintain shallow peace. You were designed by heaven, and heaven does not make mistakes. When you walk in your full worth, you not only honor your Creator, you invite others to rise higher as well. But know this, the more you embody your divine identity, the more you will confront the insecurities of those unwilling to do their own inner work. And that is not your battle to fight. Your role is to stand firm, to move in love and truth, and to remember that your light was never meant to be dimmed to accommodate darkness. Chosen woman, do you ever notice how the more you step into your true power, the more labels others try to place on you? In meetings, they call you intense. In relationships, they say you're complicated. On social media, they criticize you for thinking too highly of yourself. But let's get to the core of it. What really bothers them is not your intensity, your complexity, or your confidence. What truly unsettles them is that you refuse to settle for the bare minimum, and that refusal shines a harsh light on the mediocrity the world has conditioned them to accept. Have you ever wondered why your standards provoke such strong reactions? Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her. Luke 1:45. You are not asking for too much. The world has simply learned to offer too little. And when a woman like you, healed, conscious and called, stands tall and says no to what does not honor her worth, it shakes foundations. Why? Because every no you declare to a lesser path breaks a chain that many others are still dragging behind them. Your standards are not born from pride. They are forged in the fires of your process, through the wounds you've healed, the generational cycles you've broken, and the tears you've transformed into wisdom. You know this in your spirit. Every boundary you hold is not an act of arrogance, it is an act of liberation. Consider the story of Maya Angelou. Labeled difficult and too outspoken at times, her life was a testament to truth spoken without apology. Her standards in both art and life were a reflection of her deep understanding of dignity and divine purpose. Like her, chosen one, You embody a message that is too raw for those still living beneath their calling. Every time you say no to a situation, a relationship, or an opportunity that does not align with your purpose, you silently declare to the world, you do not have to stay bound. You were made for more. And that is why, beloved, you are seen as a threat. Because your life, without even trying, sends a message of possibility. You don't have to settle. You weren't born to merely survive. You were born to reign. And in a world built on systems of submission and quiet compliance, that message is dynamite. Have you noticed this dynamic? The subtle shift when you begin to elevate your life. The friends who fall away, the colleagues who suddenly criticize, the partners who become uncomfortable when you no longer tolerate what you once did. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Look at the life of Ruth in the Bible, a woman who could have accepted the scraps of survival, but chose instead to pursue a life of divine alignment. Her boldness in following Naomi and stepping into Boaz's field was not about chasing provision. It was about honoring the call on her life. And in doing so, she became part of the lineage of kings. Chosen one, your story carries that same DNA. You are not called to crumbs. You are called to the kingdom. And because of that, people would rather call you arrogant than confront what your life reveals about their own compromises. Isn't it easier for them to attack the woman with high standards than to look in the mirror and ask, why did I accept so little for so long? Have you asked yourself why the criticism increases the moment you begin to choose yourself? Why some relationships seem to unravel the second you start honoring your own worth? This is not coincidence. It is spiritual cause and effect. Think of Michelle Obama. Throughout her time in the public eye, she faced countless critiques, not because of what she did, but because of what she represented. A woman of integrity, intelligence, and undeniable worth who refused to lower her standards to fit a narrative. Her presence alone demanded that others rise or step back. And that is exactly what your presence is doing, chosen one. For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things He planned for us long ago. Ephesians 2:10. Now, understand this. Every time you embody your worth without apology, you force a choice in those around you: evolve or retreat. And many will choose the latter because evolving requires facing truths they are not yet ready to confront. This is why certain people have disappeared from your life as you began to choose yourself more boldly. It is not rejection, it is divine protection. They could not walk with you at the level you are now called to inhabit. Consider Oprah Winfrey's journey. Early in her career, she faced immense resistance from those who saw her refusal to conform as arrogance. Yet her unwavering commitment to authenticity transformed not only her own life, but the lives of millions. Chosen one, your standards carry that same transformative power, but do not expect applause for it. Expect resistance and walk forward anyway. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. Hebrews 10:35. So now, are you ready to fully embrace the reality that your standards will continue to confront, provoke, and expose? Are you prepared to keep saying no to what does not serve your purpose, knowing that doing so will both inspire and offend? Because this is your calling. You are not here to make others comfortable. You are here to embody what is possible when a chosen woman walks in the fullness of her worth. Chosen woman, let me speak to your spirit right now. Envy, though it wounds at times, is not a curse. It is a sign, a divine signpost that you have been marked, set apart, separated for something far greater than the world around you can grasp. Have you noticed this? No one envies what is invisible. No one is threatened by what lacks power. The very reason you feel the sting of envy is because your presence reveals something undeniable. something heaven-born that the world cannot ignore, no matter how hard it tries. Have you begun to wonder why they watch you with veiled suspicion? Why those lingering glances follow you across rooms? Why conversations change tone when you speak your truth? For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. You have to understand this clearly now. Your presence is not ordinary. It is confirmation of a truth they do not want to face, that there is something in you that does not come from this world. You carry a fire that cannot be extinguished, a radiance that cannot be dimmed by earthly schemes. You bear a divine evidence that no status, no imitation, no title can replicate. And this is why, even in your silence, you unsettle. Even in your stillness, you confront. Even in your humility, you provoke reflection. Have you ever wondered why? Because the light in you exposes the shadows in others. And that is a tension many are not prepared to sit with. Look at the life of Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery, she became a beacon of freedom, not through title or wealth, but through an unyielding divine calling. Those who feared her weren't reacting to her words alone. They were reacting to the undeniable anointing she carried. Chosen one, your life carries that same disruptive energy. You are not meant to be overlooked. You were born to stand out, not in vanity, but in purpose. Now, let's speak plainly. Envy is an involuntary confession. It is another person's soul admitting, I see your power, and I don't know how to handle it. They may try to mask it with smiles. They may wrap it in backhanded compliments or subtle critiques, but the truth is palpable. Have you felt it? Have you noticed how your growth causes discomfort? How your peace seems to destabilize those around you? How your unwavering faith quietly exposes the areas where others are still compromised? This is not arrogance. This is spiritual reality. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 61. Think of Nelson Mandela. His very presence, even in imprisonment, shook the consciousness of an entire nation. Why? Because you cannot imprison a spirit marked by divine purpose. And when he was finally free, that same presence continued to unsettle systems that thrived on oppression. Chosen one, you carry this same spiritual contradiction. You are free where others abound, whole where others remain fragmented. And that, above all, is why you draw both admiration and envy. Let me ask you, have you been excluded from circles without explanation? Have you felt the invisible shift when you speak from your authentic self? Do they question your confidence, your bold dreams, your unapologetic worth? This is not your imagination, it is discernment. You are not crazy, you are illuminated. And what is illuminated will always unsettle those who still choose to live in shadow. Have you wondered why some relationships dissolved the moment you began walking in clarity? Why certain doors shut just as you found your voice? Understand this. Those reactions were not rejections. They were revelations. Look to the life of Frida Kahlo. Through her art and her life, she laid bare her truth without apology. And though she became an icon, she faced intense envy from those who could not bear the rawness of her authenticity. Her light was too honest, too bright for a world that preferred polished facades. You too, chosen one, walk with that same unfiltered essence, and it will unsettle many. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. 2 Timothy 1:7. Now listen carefully. You were not born to fit in, you were born to shine, and that shine is heaven-ordained, not contingent upon the approval of men. So when you sense envy rising around you, do not shrink. Do not adjust yourself to make the insecure feel safe. That discomfort you provoke is not a flaw, it is a confirmation. Heaven is saying, keep shining, keep standing, keep walking, because that very discomfort is evidence of God's hand upon your life. Think of Malala Yousafzai, a young girl whose voice, forged through pain and purpose, challenged global powers. And though she inspired millions, she also attracted envy from those who could not bear the clarity of her vision. Yet she continued, unwavering. And so must you. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. So now, are you ready to fully embrace the truth of your light? Are you prepared to keep shining, even when others attempt to dim you? Because this is your calling. You are not too much. You are exactly as you were designed. And as you walk deeper into this understanding, you will see clearly why every loss, every rejection, every season of loneliness was a divine preparation for a greater purpose than you ever imagined. And what I will reveal in the conclusion will give your soul the answer it has been searching for all these years. Everything you have lived, everything you have endured was not in vain. It was preparation for a level of light that can no longer be hidden. Get ready, chosen one. The truth that is coming will ignite every part of you that you've been dimming out of fear of shining too brightly. The world needs your full light now, and heaven is cheering you on. Chosen woman, listen closely. If you are truly chosen, then this is your moment to lift your head, to straighten your soul, and to walk as one who knows beyond any shadow of doubt that heaven itself walks behind her, beside her, and within her. Have you felt the weight of envy pressing against your spirit? Have you been tempted to carry it as your cross, as though it were somehow your burden to bear? I am here to tell you, envy is not your cross. It is their mirror. It is not your responsibility to carry the unhealed wounds of those who cannot yet face their own reflection. Have you noticed this? The way their glances linger just a bit too long. The subtle coldness that greets your joy. The masked smiles that tighten when your name is spoken. These reactions are not about you. They are about what your presence reveals within them. But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. Understand this with all your heart. Envy is not proof that you are wrong. It is proof that you are marked, chosen, set apart. You are walking in a light that forces others to confront what they have yet to heal, what they do not understand, what they wish to be but have not dared to pursue. And that is not your battle to fight. That is their soul's unfinished work. Do you realize now why certain rooms have grown cold? Why some friendships have quietly dissolved? Why some conversations shift the moment you speak with clarity and conviction? You do not need to apologize for this. You do not need to shrink to make yourself easier to digest. Your light was not given to you to be dimmed for eyes that refuse to adjust. Think of Eleanor Roosevelt, criticized, misunderstood, and often envied for her strength of character. She never wavered. She did not shrink herself to fit the comfort zones of others. She carried her light with quiet dignity, knowing her worth was not up for debate. Chosen woman, you must do the same. Walk tall, walk firm. Walk knowing that the discomfort you provoke in others is not a flaw. It is a sign of your alignment with a higher calling. Now, how many times have you found yourself tempted to soften your voice so as not to offend, to lower your standards so as not to provoke envy, to dim your brilliance so others might feel more comfortable around you? Hear me clearly. Do not do it. Do not shrink your spirit to fit into spaces that God has already called you out of. When heaven begins expanding you, certain rooms will feel too small. Certain relationships will feel too fragile. Certain platforms will no longer carry the weight of your purpose. This is not rejection, it is divine graduation. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those whose walk is blameless. Psalm 84:11. Consider the story of Maya Lin, the architect of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Though young and relatively unknown at the time, her design was chosen and immediately met with backlash and envy. Yet she stood firm. She did not alter her vision to appease critics, and today her work stands as a powerful testament to truth and beauty. Chosen one, your purpose will provoke the same kinds of reactions. Will you stand firm, or will you shrink to appease those who cannot yet see? Are you walking today like someone who knows that heaven has her back? Or are you walking with shoulders hunched under the weight of other people's unhealed emotions? Because here is what I want your soul to remember. You were not anointed to live in apology. You were not chosen to dim your fire for the comfort of the lukewarm. You were chosen to burn brightly, to blaze a trail for others to follow. And that brightness will not be welcomed by all, but it is needed now more than ever. Look at the life of Malala Yousafzai. Her very existence as an educated young woman advocating for girls' rights became a threat to oppressive powers. They envied her voice, her courage, her clarity, yet she did not shrink. She continued to speak, knowing that her purpose came from heaven, not from the approval of men. You must embrace this same posture. When envy rises around you, do not retreat, rise higher. But you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. 2 Chronicles 15:7. Chosen woman, this is your charge. Walk boldly in your calling. Refuse to lower your standards to appease small minds. Refuse to apologize for carrying a vision others do not yet understand. Refuse to trade your anointing for temporary approval, because heaven is watching, and heaven is saying, keep shining. You are not too much. You are not intimidating. You are not arrogant. You are exactly as you were designed to be. And the more you walk in this truth, the more heaven will expand your territory, elevate your influence, and deepen your impact. Chosen woman, hear this truth with your whole spirit. You were chosen for this time, not by chance, not by coincidence, not by some stroke of random luck. You were chosen by divine design for this precise moment in history, for this exact generation, for purposes that even now your human mind can barely begin to fathom. Your existence alone is an answer to prayers that were spoken long before you were born. Your presence is not a mistake. It is a declaration to the world that heaven is still moving, still calling, still raising up women of strength, purpose, and unstoppable power. And the process you've walked through, all of it, has been preparation for a future far greater than you can yet imagine. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. So do you believe this yet? Or are you still tempted to question why life has tested you so fiercely, why certain doors seem to close just as you were ready to step through, why the weight of rejection has shadowed even your brightest seasons? Hear me clearly. Nothing and no one can stop what God has already written about your life. Not envy, not rejection, not betrayal, not the voices that tried to silence your purpose. Every single opposition you faced has only served to confirm what heaven already knows, that you are marked, sealed, and appointed for greatness. Think of the life of Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, told repeatedly that his cause would fail, that his voice would never matter again. Yet none of it stopped the purpose written upon his life. When he was finally released, his destiny unfolded with undeniable power, not because the world allowed it, but because heaven had already ordained it. Chosen one, your story carries that same unstoppable flow. No human scheme can erase what God has written in eternal ink. So now, let them watch, let them whisper, let them doubt. Their eyes are not your compass, their opinions are not your guide, because while they sit in judgment, you are moving. While they criticize, you are advancing. While they waste time questioning your worth, you are quietly building empires in silence. Have you felt this shift in your spirit? The growing knowing that what you are building now is beyond what the world can comprehend? That is heaven's confirmation to you. You are stronger than you think, more anointed than you can yet imagine, and more necessary than this world is even prepared to admit. But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. 2 Chronicles 15:7. Consider the life of Oprah Winfrey, a woman once dismissed, abused, and underestimated. And yet, while critics mocked her beginnings, she was already building an empire rooted in authenticity and spiritual truth. Today, her impact spans generations, not because the world welcomed her, but because heaven equipped her. Chosen one, you walk that same path. Do not be swayed by the noise of doubters. Do not be distracted by the envy of the unhealed. Stay focused. Stay planted. Stay obedient to the vision God has burned into your spirit. Now, how many times have you been tempted to shrink when the voices of doubt grew loud? How many times have you questioned your path simply because others could not see what God was showing you in secret? Chosen woman, hear me. What they do not see does not invalidate what God is building in you. Faith walks ahead of sight, and your destiny is unfolding even when the evidence is not yet visible to those around you. Think of Harriet Tubman. While others dismissed her as a fugitive, she was already forging a path of freedom for hundreds. While they slandered her name, she was building a legacy that history would one day honor. She did not need the approval of men to fulfill a God-ordained mission, and neither do you. God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. Hebrews 6:10. So let them watch. Let them whisper behind closed doors. Let them question what they do not understand, because while they sit in judgment, you are rising in obedience. You are expanding your capacity. You are deepening your roots. You are moving with the quiet certainty of one who knows that heaven has already gone before her. And in time, the fruit of your labor will speak louder than their words ever could. Consider the life of Malala Yousafzai. Targeted, silenced, nearly killed for daring to speak truth. Yet while her enemies plotted, her influence multiplied. While they sought to dim her voice, she rose higher, speaking to the world from global platforms. Chosen one, your story is still unfolding, and the enemies of your purpose will not prevail. What God has begun in you, he will complete. I am convinced of this. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1:6. Now lean in, because here is what you must remember in the days ahead. The opposition you face is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are advancing. No one throws stones at an empty tree. The envy you provoke, the resistance you encounter, the doubt you face, all of it is confirmation that you are carrying something the world cannot explain, something the kingdom of darkness cannot control, something that heaven itself has marked as unstoppable. So walk boldly, chosen woman. Lift your head high, straighten your soul. Let them watch, let them whisper, let them wonder. And while they do, build. Build with unwavering faith. Build with unstoppable vision. Build with the quiet, fierce confidence of one whose destiny was written by the hand of heaven long before this world ever knew your name. The time is now. And you, chosen one, you are exactly where heaven needs you to be. Understand this truth deep in your bones. You were not created to merely survive the envy, the hate, or the resistance. You were not created to cower beneath it or constantly question your worth in the face of it. You were created to reign above it, to move through the noise untouched, unshaken, unstoppable. Because what is upon your life is not fragile. It is forged in the fire of trials, anchored in the promises of God, and protected by the hand of the Almighty. And no opinion, no attack, No scheme can override what heaven has declared over you. So now, I invite you, if this truth touched your soul today, if it resonated with the deepest part of your spirit, comment right now, "I was chosen not by the world, but by heaven." Say it boldly. Declare it not just for others to hear, but for your own soul to remember. For every time you doubted, for every moment you dimmed your light, for every season you questioned whether you were too much, this is your declaration of remembrance. Type it boldly and let the entire universe hear it. I was chosen not by the world, but by heaven. And as you move forward from this moment, let this truth be engraved upon your heart. Your light is your greatest weapon, not bitterness, not retaliation, not fear. Your light. The very thing the world tried to shame you for, the very thing they hoped would fade. Your light is what sets you apart and what drives darkness into trembling. And your faith, that is your shield. It guards you from every dart of envy, every whisper of doubt, every scheme of the enemy. Stand firm in it, and your destiny, it is unstoppable. It is already in motion. Nothing and no one can alter what God has begun in you. Chosen woman, I want to take a moment now from my heart to thank you deeply for being here, for walking this journey with me through these words today. Whether this is your first time listening, or you have stood with this community for months or even years, thank you. Your presence here matters more than you know. Every time you engage, every time you share, every time you declare these truths aloud, you strengthen not only yourself, but every other chosen one who walks this path beside you. You are never alone. We are walking this together. And if you feel led to sow into this message, to support the continued creation of content like this, I invite you to donate through Super Thanks. You'll find the button just below this video or post. Whether you give or not, know this: you are deeply appreciated. Your presence, your encouragement, your voice here in this space means everything. No gift is too small, and no heart is ever taken for granted. I thank you now in advance, with deep gratitude, whether you choose to give or simply to stand with us in spirit. Before we close, let me speak a blessing over you now, right where you are. Chosen woman, may your light grow stronger and brighter with each passing day. May your voice grow clearer, your spirit bolder, your purpose unstoppable. May every chain that once sought to bind you be shattered. May the envy of others fall powerless before the anointing of God upon your life. May you walk into every room as one fully aware that heaven itself walks with you, and may you remember always that no attack can alter your destiny. You are not too much. You are exactly who heaven designed you to be. So now, chosen one, go, walk boldly, reign fully, let the darkness tremble, for a chosen woman has just awakened, and her light will not be hidden. I'll see you in the next message. Stay blessed, stay unstoppable, and remember, you were chosen not by the world, but by heaven.